Yo, yo, yo. We're coming back in about 10 minutes. 10 minutes, we going live. Today's topic. Black billionaire gets indicted. Black billionaire, Bitcoin billionaire. I never even heard of this guy. Black billionaire. Bitcoin. Wanted by the feds. Be back. 10 minutes.
are a gamer who customizes everything: avatars, skins, controllers. Yeah, they got it for me.
Grand Rising, good afternoon, good evening. Hit that like notification bell. Let's get some people in the building. Let's get some people in the building. Hit that like notification bell. Let's get into it. They'll be talking about a billionaire that has been flying under our nose. Black young fella, 35 years old, wanted by the feds. He hasn't committed a crime. He hasn't committed a crime, but he's wanted by the feds because he's a genius. That's why this topic is a must watch, because this is a genius, and this is how government and their financial system attacks geniuses, especially when they look like you and I. And the brother name that we'll be talking about is Arthur Hayes. So you can look him up. You want to do your own research on him and see how he became a billionaire. But I'm going to go over that today. One sec. If you can hear me, give me a 1. Somebody give me a 1 if you can hear me just fine. Need some 1s. Give me just fine. All right. Designer Dior in the building. Gotta contact me, brother. Contact me. Cash App. I mean, not Cash App, excuse me. If you can hit the Cash App. But email me. Oh, that's a young woman. Okay. I don't know. Designer Dior is someone. Yeah, text me, call me. Numbers in the description. WEBULL. Trade stocks. You sign up $100 or more. You get free stocks. I get free stocks. It's in the description. Trade a few stocks. Learn how to trade little stocks. Start with $100. It's good to learn how to trade stocks. I'll post some videos on that as well. How to read the financial markets. How to tech fundamental analysis. Technical analysis charts, fundamentals, what the company doing on its financial sheet. Combine the two, give you a better answer. Also, what we got going on? EBOOKS, tutorials, also in the description. Shopee.gg, EBOOKS and tutorials, news and affiliate market information, thechurchofmoney.info. So make sure y'all take a gander, take a look at those things. Do a sign up, make you some money, the ideas have 6 to 7, well, ideally 5 to 7 streams of income coming in. That should be our goal. Take on your job. You should have money outside of your job. Maybe cook dinners. Maybe, I don't know, snowing here right now in Detroit area. So shovel snow, side hustle. It's snowing. Get your blade put on the front of your truck. That's extra income. You want to have about 6 streams of income at all times. And if you don't have them, start working towards them to get them. Get into this in a minute. Let some people get in the building. Hold on, people. Yeah. Hold on. What, leave out?
No.
Hold on. I'm recording live. All right, all right, all right. Get some more people back in the building. Left people left the building. Gotta get some people in the house. Before I go in, call somebody. Get a little audience in here. Story gonna be good. Good story here. Actually, great story. This story will explain a lot of things on how to become successful and what it and how being in the right place at the right time, meeting the opportunity. So people talking about that was lucky. Lucky is when you hit the lottery. But when you at the right place in the right time, you're doing the right things and things just meet up organically, that's real luck. And that's what happened to this brother. And thanks to his mother to putting him in a position, she went out her way to put him in a position to win. In the early beginning of his life, she wanted to make sure he had a great education. Yes, sir. You got to hear this one, brother. This is a young brother, 35 years old. Even though he's wanted by the feds, he's not. What they got him wanted for is really some BS, and they know it's BS. But he's a genius. Him and his partners, they're geniuses. They put their minds together and made a $1 trillion platform for you and I can trade Bitcoin all over the world. Him and his partners did that. So I'm gonna do. Arthur Hayes is his name. He lives large. That's what this article's about. Like Bobby Axelrod and Billions, large. I don't know who that is. I never seen that show, Billions, but I might have to check it out. Just replaced New York with Hong Kong. The brother lives in Hong Kong. So that right there, he broke out the norm. One move right there. He broke out his comfort zone. He in Hong Kong. He's not in America. He's in Hong Kong. 1 second. And they say infuse it with a little dose of Silicon Valley, where unicorns spring from the mind of the oppressible company founders. And well, you get the picture. Hayes is hitting the powder, Hokkaido. That means he's skiing. 1 minute he's skiing in a mountain called Hokkaido. The next he's crushing it on a subterranean squash court in central Hong Kong's Wall Street. And all the while he keeps one eye trained on the obscure sounding currency exchange that he built out of thin air, and through which more than $3 trillion has flowed. You hear that? Him and his partners made some serious moves. You hear that? $3 trillion has flowed through their exchange. Screen star, handsome, and fabulously wealthy. I don't know about all that, but the African American banker turned maverick personifies the contemporary fintech pioneer. I've been talking about fintech. I've been talking about Bitcoin. And I mentioned 3-4 videos ago, Bitcoin was at 30,000. I said, I told everyone, get Bitcoin at 30,000, and you could have made you some bread. You could have made you. It's at 38,000, I think it is today. You had got it when I told you at 30, 31 it was, you would have made you some money. Hold on. You would have made you some money if you had listened to what I said. You would have made you some money if you had listened to what I said. So listen, follow my script, not financial advice, but I'm gonna give you good sound advice, but this is not. So follow the script, follow along. But when it drop back down, if it go up to 40 again, wait till it drop back down to 31, 32. buy it, sell it at 40, 38. When you see it start making lower lows, get rid of it. Highs, each high point, low point goes higher and higher as it goes up, keep it. As soon as it makes a descending trend, makes a lower low, 2-3 bars, sell it. Wait till it get back down, come buy it again. It's called a consolidation period. You can trade within the consolidation period. And usually it depends on the market conditions and how long it will stay. Well, right now, what they call a consolidation period. So get you some money out of that. Why you can't? Just be careful. This is not trading effects. Just be careful. Learn. Don't risk any money that you can't afford to lose. That's rule number one. Don't risk any money you cannot afford to lose. It's not a casino. Don't go to this. It can be like a casino. You don't. So leave it alone. Let's get back to the topic at hand. Green Star has them, that's what they said. But for the feds describe Arthur Hayes differently. Of course they do. A wanted man who flouted the law by operating in the shadows of the financial market. Hayes' indictment was unsealed in October. He remains at large, and prosecutors in New York hope to arrest him and try him on 2 felony counts, which carry a possible penalty of 10 years in prison. But they haven't went and got him. Why haven't they went and got him? In China, he hasn't committed a crime. America don't like him because he's not using Federal Reserve notes. These are Federal Reserve notes. If you read this, legal tender, you see what it says there? Federal Reserve note. This is currency. This is not money. This is currency. So with Bitcoin, with the $1 billion in Bitcoin he has, he can change this into, he can change that Bitcoin at any given time. He see fit. There's people all around the world who will purchase your Bitcoin from you at an increased rate. And that's what he found out. So he made an exchange. He said, well, he started out what's called arbitrage. One country may sell Bitcoin may be 150 and it's 120 here. He can exchange that. You do that all day. 300,000, depends on how much money you want to exchange every day, back and forth to whoever in the Bitcoin world. And that's what he did. And actually, when this Bitcoin first started out, the first people, most of the people who had Bitcoin first were all criminals. They were all credit card people. Those were the people who started Bitcoin first. Those were the early adopters. Those were the first people who got on board. Then they seen how lucrative it was to trade it. So there was no need to do any more crimes. Not saying these guys, he didn't start this way. This guy Arthur had, as I go through his story, he didn't do anything. You don't have to commit crime. That's the whole point of this, for me going into this. But the early adopters of Bitcoin, most, but not all, they started with Bitcoin. They were the ones who started Bitcoin, got it popular. So let's continue. So this is a tale of new money versus, and that's exactly what this story is. The younger generation, from me on down, we don't need Federal Reserve notes anymore. You don't really need that. If you do, you can always transfer it into Federal Reserve. You can always transfer Bitcoin into Federal Reserve notes. If you want a Ferrari, you can trade 200,000, 300 for the Federal Reserve notes, buy the Ferrari or gold chain, whatever material possession or non-material possession you want to possess. Bitcoin can be the catalyst for that. And by him being a Bitcoin billionaire, he's really a true billionaire. The government is mad because he hasn't given them not one tax. Bitcoin is untaxable unless you disclose it. That's what the real anger is about. And they say, as I go, you'll see the story. So this is a tale of new money versus old. Financial whiz kids upstaging banking's old guard. And American authorities attempting to apply 20th century laws to 21st century innovation. Absolutely. Prosecutors allege that Hayes and his business partners the Bank Secrecy Act by failing to implement and maintain an adequate anti-money laundering program to weed out bad actors and dirty money. That goes back to like what I was saying in the beginning of Bitcoin. Most of the early adopters, once again, were criminals, swipers, drug dealers. That's true. I attest to that. That's true. They're the ones, because before there was Bitcoin, there was, I said, a few called Liberty Reserve. That's what most of the criminals, swipers, and credit card scammers all use that. They locked that guy up. Bitcoin came about right after. Soon after. Boom. It's almost like it was deliberate. Like somebody planted it. So you got to be careful. There's nothing that's just happenstance. Everything is planned. Everything. Just don't think things out of nowhere. No. Everything is planned. Everything. Been planned 20, 30 years ago. They have committees, subcommittees, all types of committees that sit down and plan your future. Prosecutors allege that Hayes and his business partners violate the Bankruptcy Secrecy Act. Meanwhile, Hayes, the cryptocurrency world, believes he is being punished for building an ingenious product that has baffled lawmakers, bedeviled regulators, and once it became wildly popular, posed a threat to some of the market's biggest players. You hear that? He became a threat to some of the market's biggest players. 2 trillion, what was it? Trillion, 3 trillion? $3 trillion? Look up a company named Blackwater. Blackwater owns everything in America, in the world. They're like partners in everything in the world. Look up Blackwater and their CEO. He's like, they do like 20, they got 20 something trillion dollars under management. That's why they say these kids here were on playing with the biggest players. You hear what they say? They playing with the biggest players, not the little guys, the medium guys. They playing with the biggest players. So they in the financial market where all the money flowing. The biggest banks, Chase, Bank of America, the Hong Kong banks, some of the British banks, they're the biggest players. These cats, this brother is on their level. You think they want a brother in their game? He actually is not even playing their game. He created a whole new game that people love. And they're mad because he created a new monopoly that the people love. And said, we don't want to play the old monopoly no more. We like his monopoly board better. So what they do, like they had it set up, they had henchmen. They have, like I said, committees and people who study you. We'll see. Adding to the chorus of voices are some high-powered legal experts who consider the case United States of America versus Arthur Hayes to be largely That's a hell of a fight. I had that same title, my name, United States against my name, 20 years old. My brother was my co-defendant. Had our name, United States against our name. So it's the worst feeling to ever have. State court, nothing. Federal court, nothing to have. At the time when the SEC is seemingly doing the bidding of Wall Street titans eager to punish the unwashed masses of day traders for scuttling banks and hedge funds, trading positions on GameStop or other stocks, Hayes, just be patient. Let me clear this up. Stumbling. Hayes might just be patient zero when it comes to exposing accuracy and high finance that is now coming to sharp relief. So let's get into it. That was just the beginning. The crypto gold rush and a backpack full of cash. Hayes, 35, went silent in October. But the crypto condor has not always been to middle-class parents. He from my city, too. The D don't do nothing but produce some of the best people in the world, especially brothers. Byron Allen, the other billionaire, black billionaire from the D. And they'll be me with that same continuation. So let's go back. I was gloating. Let me stop gloating. Born to middle-class parents who and were beholden to the ever-changing fortunes of the auto giant. He split his formative years between Detroit and Buffalo, where his mother, Barbara, moved mountains to get her gifted son into Nichols School, a leafy private institution founded in 1892. His mom got him into a prestigious school. She went out her way to make sure he got education. You know, my mother tried to do the same thing. I effed it off. I thought I wanted to be Tony Montana at 15. Got caught with a pocket full of crack in private school. Dream shattered. Was a hell of a football player, but I wanted to be a drug dealer too. Dream shattered. Went to another school, became a crack dealer, went to prison, 25 years. They go the story, short. So let's get into it. So let's go back. He succeeded at everything, from his studies to sports field, to making lasting friendships. Reads a testimony feature on one of the fundraising pages of the school website. Nichols gave him the setting, the stimulation, at one point the scholarship to thrive. See, I'm reading this because give us, put us in the right circumstances, we thrive. It happens every time. Reginald Lewis, I spoke about him earlier in my previous video. The guy they put in, he thrive. Anytime we get the opportunity and the playing field is level, we come on, we the cream of the crop. It show it every time. I read the story about the little 14-year-old girl who has a master's degree. We shine. The playing field is level. They cannot beat us. That's why I tell us. That's why I'm speaking to you all. You don't have to do it a crime. Just gotta be patient. Put your work, try to put yourself in the best situation. If your parents don't do it, try to put yourself in the best situation around the best people to get you where you need to go and want to go. Don't worry about your friends. If they ain't trying to go with you, gotta leave them behind. This is a journey for you. This is your journey. One person, you, the God in you. It's your journey. You want to get rich, you want to be successful, whatever it may be, or whatever it is. That's your journey. You can't bring others along until you got it together first. Hayes in return has given back, underwriting a scholarship that ensures a deserving student will be able to experience the excellence of a Nichols education and the lifelong benefits it brings. So I don't know where Nichols Schools is. I don't know what it is, but it helped him out greatly. And many of us, we come up through these public schools, and you go through the public school. I'm in the public schools too, public and private. And pretty much we all know public schools is like who dressed the best, who can be the freshest. That's how when I went to school, who could come up to the school and nobody was focusing on really education. You probably had one or two, three guys who were called valedictorians, or mainly was a girl all the time. It wasn't focused. You don't have to do the school's lessons, but you got to do something. You got to be creative in something. If the school you think is stifling you, well, you should be able to do something better. If not, take the learn how to read properly, learn how to do math. So those are the most important things: math and reading. All the other shit you can leave behind. You need to learn how to read, not just read, recite, read, comprehend. After attending Wharton School of Business, he headed off to Hong Kong. So he went to Wharton Business School, one of the top business schools in the country, in the world. Yeah, a black man going to Wharton, that's rare. But we can do it. We can go to any school. We can go to any school. It's not a school that we can't attend and achieve and win. But you gotta have strong foundation. Gotta set up a strong foundation. Like, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification bell. Give me a thumbs up if you're with me. Give me a thumbs up if you're with me. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Before I continue, give me a thumbs up. That notification bell. You want me to continue? Say yes. Let me say yes in the chat. Let me see yes. You want me to continue? Say yes. Somebody put yes, and I'm gonna continue. Not, I'll stop. Let me get a yes. Get it out. Hit that thumbs up. That helps the algorithm. Thumbs up helps the algorithm. Help other people get the notification. Come on and watch it with us. That notification bell. Subscribe. Share if you haven't subscribed. A new subscriber. If you're a new subscriber, thank you. I know some people coming in, coming out, coming in, coming out. So if you're a new subscriber, thank you. Let's continue. Where he worked at, Deutsche Bank and Citibank, as a market maker for exchange traded funds, or what they call ETFs, hybrid securities that, now unlike mutual funds, diversify investors' risk but can be traded like stocks. You see, by him getting in the right position, he already heading down that direction. He's already getting an understanding. Well, it took me to learn. He learned. His mama put him in the position so he can learn. Thank you, Cortez. Thank you, brother Cortez Aaron. Thank you pretty much. I'm gonna continue. Because this is a hell of a story. If you like it so far, if you like the story so far, put a one. Give me a one. Give me a one. If you like the story so far, this brother sharp. He's sharp. Went to Wharton Business School. Mama broke her back and put him in the best, like my mama did. Broke her back, put me in one of the best schools. This brother got a great story. So let's continue. Bankers tell you every day, Bankers tell you everybody has a bullet with their name on it. Oh, let me go back. Hayes was just hitting his stride when a pink slip arrived in May 2013. So they fired him. They fired him. Just tell you everybody has a bullet with their name on it. He explained one afternoon over tea at the Marina Bay Sands in Singapore. So he out of Singapore chilling, young brother. They talking about we struggling. Black people today have more money than in any time in history, thanks to Donald Trump. So y'all need to give. Y'all know y'all voted him out of office, but y'all need to thank him because more millionaires was created under Donald Trump than ever before in history. You can do the math checking on that. And I guarantee you're gonna come up like, damn, we should have kept that nigga in office. But that nigga had the money flowing for it. Now the money gonna keep flowing because they don't have no choice now. But they're gonna take the credit from him. But they gonna try to take the credit from him. But the credit is his for us getting this money. All that stimulus and $1 million in cash was still in this stimulus. Those were some business loans. They could have did other with the money than buy Rolls Royces, gold chains, diamond chains, set up shoe factories. They could have set up a pants factory. No, them niggas went and bought Rolls Royces with that shit. See, that's what we do wrong. See, that's why you get caught because you got bad karma. You got bad karma. You create bad karma for yourself. When you steal millions of dollars from the government, you're supposed to do for your community. You're supposed to take that back bill for your community, not for you. Fool. You. Fool. You go back and build for your community. Thanks for the ones. That's when you get them millions. You go back and create something for the hood, from where you from, where you from, from wherever area you from. You go back and create for that, and then you get your wealth out of that, and that's where you get rich from that. You take the heat off yourself. You do for the community. Everybody know where it came from. Who matter? Show enough. Another minister in the building. So on Fridays, it's Muslims. This is their day, holy day. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah wa barakatuh. And tomorrow is the Hebrews' day. Shalom. Sunday is the Christians' day. Amen. So, oh man, this motherfucking winner. They try to sabotage me. Hold on. One second, people. Be right back. My apologies. Well, pay attention and let my computer battery die. We got it right here though. Show don't never stop. We just keep going. We roll on like a wheelbarrow. You just roll over it and keep going. You dig? We just roll on, keep going like a wheelbarrow. We don't go let it stop. Let it stop us. Can't stop. You get up in the morning, that's what you say. Can't stop. First, thank the ancestors. Who are your ancestors? All your loved ones who died before you, friends, family, all those your ancestors. Get up first, thank them, tell them help you with your day, then you say can't stop, won't stop. All right, I'm about to start back. So you say he met Hayes at the hotel in Singapore. The iconic hotel featured in the finale of Crazy Witch. Y'all saw that show. But he's at that hotel. He was wearing his standard attire, skin tight t-shirt, jeans, and a pricey timepiece, a Hublot Big Bang. I wasn't married, had no kids, no obligations. An investment banker, so I wasn't sleeping on the street. So he was getting money because he was an investment banker. So he had a little money to play with. I wanted to build something. That's me. I want to build something. I interviewed Hayes and some of his cohorts in Hong Kong, Singapore, New York in 2018, 2019. The October indictment, I haven't spoken at length with insiders who know and are in communication with Hayes. And it's in two indicted business partners, Ben Delo and Sam Reed. A number of these sources requested anonymity so as not to prejudice pending legal proceedings on the advice of counsel. Hayes, Delo, and Reed opted not to comment for this story. So they all three of them are out. But he's still over in Asia. And I'm not sure if there's extradition treaty or extradition. They have extradited treaty with Hong Kong or not. But for some reason, they can't go over there and get him. But they got his partners over here. But you'll hear about it when I keep reading. So back to the pink slip. 1 second. But Hayes a bad boy. Yeah, Hayes doing this thing, and our government is hating on Hayes, especially because he's a so-called black brother, but his partners are Europeans. As I read on, you'll see his partners Europeans. That's why I don't really get up and caught up into the racism and things, because we need all hands on deck. There was racism was created. That's something created. That's what our black leaders, they try to use that to keep us so-called uneducated people down. So they call race hustlers. Be careful with the race hustlers. It's a ton. Most of them are race hustlers. Black Lives Matter. Jesse Jackson, race hustler. Reverend Al, race hustler. All those guys are race hustlers. They get paid for our misery and pain. They only show up when it's misery and pain, not when we trying to really gain. So don't mess with the race hustlers. Do your own thing. You don't need nobody to lead you. You can lead yourself. All you got to do is know. That's it. Know. Just to know. Don't lead you. Learn discernment. When somebody bring you some bullshit, learn to discern it. Is it accurate or is it correct? I totally always love to be transparent. If I'm on BS, call me out so I can correct my behavior. A lot of people don't want to be checked. I love to be checked. Check me. I want to be right. I don't want to be on the side of wrong. I want to be right. So when I'm wrong, make me sure I get on the right side. I'm left-handed, but the right side, that's God's side. and I'm on the side of God. You ain't on the side of God, goodbye. 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 Because the God in you is the only thing that matters. And that's going to lead you to what's right. Because you know what's right. It's in you. You don't need no book, nothing. I don't need no book tell me. None of that. I know what's right. Know what's wrong. Innately, I know those things. Okay, we're going to continue the story. Always got to go off on a little diatribe on the side. Got to get my 2 cents. Wouldn't be right. Cryptocurrency, bears repeating, is a digital form of payment and a value. It relies on a secure, decentralized, ledger called a blockchain to record transactions, manage the issuance of new coins or tokens, and prevent fraud and counterfeiting. Though there are thousands out there, Bitcoin is by far the most durable, despite having dubious backstory involving an enigmatic creator named Satoshi Nakamoto, whose existence and identity have never been established. Nobody knows who this guy is, but he's the one who created Bitcoin. That's what they say. But I also got another reputable source said the government created Bitcoin. So who knows? But the way it's set up, they can't get your money. So if they did, the government did set it up, or Satoshi set it up. They made it where your Bitcoin can be secure, as long as you don't forget your password, like some idiots have done with 10 million in their wallet, and they can't access their wallet because they got their password. That's 20 million. One guy got 200 million in his wallet, and he can't access his password. But I would never let it go, because eventually somebody will be able to crack this. Humans, like I will go back to the God in you. Somebody who's going to recognize the real God in them. We're going to find how to crack whatever. Maybe not today, now, 10 years from now, but at some point in time, only thing happens is human intellect progresses. They can make hearts. They can make lungs now. Those things previous they could never do. They thought it was impossible to do. They can do all of those things now. They made an invisible cloak. Have you all seen the invisible cloak? Give me a 1 if you've seen the invisible cloak. If you haven't seen the invisible, that means you can go invisible. So technology will continue and continue. So 200 million might not be worth nothing then, but you'll be able to access it at some point in time. Bitcoin's blockchain was designed so that only 20 million virtual coins would ever be mined. That kind of verifiable scarcity, in contrast with the tendency of the world's central bankers to print money, whether in a pandemic or whenever it is politically expedient, has contributed to the currency's precipitous rise in price, from less than a penny in 2009 to over 41,000 January 2021. I started with Bitcoin 2009, probably. I started with it. I came with it from the beginning. I used to go meet people to exchange Bitcoin with them. And then they finally started getting kiosks, little ATM machines around to buy it and sell it and transfer it or whatever. So I say about 2000, I started with it. Like I said, it came from web money. They had what you call, then you had Liberty Reserve. Then they got rid of those, and that's why I say it could have some kind of truth to the government started it, because right after those two failed, that one came out of nowhere. Bitcoin came out of nowhere with a mysterious founder. At first, Hayes among cryptos, think sea of tax evaders. You see what they call them? Tax evaders. It's a biased article too. Why does it have to be a tax evader? There's nothing in the Constitution that says you have to do that. Nothing in any state. Go read your state constitution. Nothing in any state constitution say you have to pay tax. It's all created by the IRS. Which government agency? Excuse me. It's not part of the government. Excuse me. Independent, private owned company, just like the Federal Reserve Bank. The Reserve Bank is owned by all the banks, and that's what makes the Federal Reserve Bank. J.P. Morgan tried to bail out the stock market in 1920 something when the Great Depression. He took literally $1 million of cash money and gave it to the brokers to put it in the market. It didn't help though. Let's continue. So at first he was a nobody. I don't think they say tax evaders, drug dealers, arms traffickers. Well, I did say in the beginning that most people in the beginning of Bitcoin were criminals. So child pornographers, probably so. Contrarian, libertarians, and wanker bankers pining for a return to the gold standard. And then what they mean by that, at one point in time, Richard Nixon, president, 1971, took America off what they call the gold standard. The gold standard is when the fiat, this fiat was backed by gold or silver. You could, one time they had silver certificates, so you get $1 like this, you turn it, and they'll give you a silver coin in exchange. Not today. It's all fake money now. That's fake money. I know we love to trade it and give it to one another because we only do that because we have confidence that it can buy food, it can buy a car, it can buy clothes. That's the only reason that still has value. Once we say that those things that we don't believe and trust in that anymore, then it has no value because it's not backed by anything. Bitcoin is a threat to that. That's why Bitcoin is a threat to that, because people are not giving the government a tax on the money. Government always want a tax. Continue to tax. 60% theirs, 40% yours. Such a terrible. Who would take a partnership like that? A 60-40 split. 50-50, if anything worse. They get 60, and then when the Democrats in, they get 70. So 60 with the Republicans, 70 with the Democrats. Both of them ain't no good. They were united by their disenchantment with old school banking and its laggardly pace. Onerous verification, requiring accounts, and moving money. In a sense that the relationship between big finance and big government has become entirely too cozy. In their view, governments, starting with the US and rippling outward, believe and acted as though they have a monopoly on money and resisted the crypto uprising, in which people were investing in reputedly anonymous digital assets to make a profit, hide their wealth, flip off the stack, some combination thereof. The crypto gold rush initially attracted three types of players: visionaries with gold-plated resumes, boiler room sharks who could recite just enough buzzwords to BS their way through a capital raise, and the inevitable parasites who latch on and try to feed off the other. That's interesting right there. At one point in time, you could have, we missed the boat a lot. We focused too small. They were giving these Europeans 50, 60, 70, 80 million, $100 million. just because they could speak the lingo, but they didn't have no idea whatsoever what they were doing. Like I said, I was an early adopter, but by me not being like this young gentleman, raised in that lane, for lack of a better word, he was put in that lane, banking, boom, boom, boom. I was put in the lane of the streets, but he was put in that lane, so he got to meet the right people. That's why I say you have to put yourself around the right people. You put yourself around the right people, you'll take off like a rocket. And that's why I was just reading it. That's interesting. These guys, you just know the right people. It's like a no-brainer. Money just falls in your hand. Like, wow, it comes that easy if you put yourself around the right people. Byron Allen, Weather Channel founder. We're not the founder, the owner now. Brother, black brother. Same thing. He knocked on doors, called nonstop, till he got around the right people. Once he got around the right people, he didn't even have to have a dollar. He had to have a penny. He just had the idea. Same with this kid here. As we continue. The crypto gold rush initially attracted, like we read that, not surprisingly, Hayes ran with the smart set. Just like I said, see, Hayes ran with the smart set. We like to run with the dumb set, dumb set, dumb set. We need to get with the smart set, smart set, smart set. I bought my first Bitcoin from Arthur in 2013. We called Jahan Chu, a New Jersey native who followed a circuitous route to the Pacific Rim. While undergrad at Johns Hopkins, he taught himself how to code. See, he put in that was smart. Self-starters. He's a self-starter. This kid he just met taught himself how to code. If you're young, you're in your 20s, if you're young in your 20s, I suggest you learn how to code, bro. Stop everything you're doing, learn how to code. You learn how to code as a black man. Woo-wee. I'm kind of old to code, but I still try to do C++, Ajax, and all that. But try to learn. If you're young, you got it. You could do it. 2 years, 3 years. You learn how to code, 3 years, you'd be a millionaire. You'll be able to make your own apps. You'd be on Google, what's the Google Play Store? Apple, iStore, whatever, App Store. You can make your own apps, games. Learn how to make a little small game that everybody play. What is it, Candy Crush? This shit up. You know how to code. It's not hard. Learn math. If I could do it, you could do it. They got little children making games, 10, 9. Make their own. They code. That's the future. You're in your 20s, you're going to be here till 2040. I'm going to be gone, but you're going to be here. 250, 2050, 260, 2060. You're going to be here. So you need to get on board. If you playing games, the future. They say black people by 2040, income will be zero. That's the statistic. I could look it up for you and show you. That's what they say. See, our income will be zero in 20 years, 19 years. That ain't far. That ain't long. So just like that. So get on the ball. So he taught himself how to code just in time for the first .com boom in the late 1990s. I was in prison at that time. After working at a small web development shop in New York, Sotheby's came calling, looking to Chu to help the auction house grow its digital presence. We famously sold the Declaration of Independence in 2000, he exclaimed, referring to one of the last remaining copies in private hands. Wow. The $8.14 million transaction, and they sold the Declaration of Independence for $8 million. One of the few copies. The online market dipped and Chu moved to Hong Kong, helped Sotheby's cater to ultra-rich Asian clients, many of whom had seemingly insatiable appetite for arts and artifacts. These boys on the move. Get out your comfort zone. That's what I had to do. Get out my comfort zone. Now things better, getting better than ever. Every day it gets better. In his spare time, Chu organized brainstorming sessions for enthusiasts of digital currencies, which started with 5 people at a smoky bar in Shangwan, however, quickly grew into a community of thousands. By 2016, he told me, turned his compulsion into a career, establishing Kinetic, a venture capital firm that trades crypto. See what he did? He didn't just stop there. He said, I'm going to start a venture capital firm. I spoke about that. The last video, I think it was, when I was talking about pipes. Go back, and if you haven't seen the video about pipes, go back up and look about pipes. So you can learn how to establish a venture capital fund. That's where you raise money to throw into. Here, he raised money to put it into the crypto world. Has invested in over 150, has invested in over 150 companies. Wow, these boys doing it. These are the type of people you want to emulate. You don't want to emulate little, what is it? Drake. You don't want to emulate. You don't want to emulate them. Who else? Who else is dumb motherfucker? You don't want to emulate none of them. Those guys, those type of guys don't know what to do with their wealth. They got enough wealth to create these same type of platforms. To start it, because they're not really rich. They look rich, but they don't have it. They're not really rich. They just look rich. These guys are rich. He's one. What do you say? The biggest players. They didn't say the smallest players or the medium players or the big players. They said the biggest players. So this brother playing with the biggest players. So I don't want to follow nobody unless they are the biggest players. And I don't follow them. I just learn from their mistakes and their things that they do right. Follow me, God and me. Arthur, so let's go on. So he went from this guy, he watched in amazement as his friend Arthur took the crypto world by storm. So he's saying Arthur took the crypto storm, and this guy, he got 150 companies he's invested in. So he said going from artisanal trader, meaning he was just a I could draw a picture today, into an industry type like I'm the goon of all goons. That's what he became in the market of crypto world. He became the man of all men. Arthur Hayes started small. Well, that's what I was talking about earlier. Just getting a little in between money off 2 sides. You just get the middle. Play in the middle. Only in the middle. Where's she at? In the middle. Buying Bitcoin in one market and then selling it at a premium in another. You see that? Buy it over here. I'm gonna take this pound of weed from California. I'm gonna take it to get this premium on it. 2,000, 3,000 in California. If I take it to Arkansas, it's a premium on it. It's 5,000, 7,000 over there. But they don't have it like that. That's a premium. It's in a layman's way. So that's what he was doing, arbitrage. Make a little money in between. Things were humming along until October 2013 when he had coins he had sent to Mt. Gox. Mt. Gox got everybody. I'm glad I didn't deal with Mt. Gox at that time. But Mt. Gox, they lost everything too. Tokyo-based Bitcoin exchange to help patrons convert their holdings into fiat money. Traditional legal tender. I showed you guys legal tender. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. Like, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Let me get that thumbs up. Go back and watch this from the beginning if you just tuned it in. This is a hell of a video. Hell of a video. It's probably one of the best on YouTube right now. I must say it myself. To my own horn. Do that sometime, not all the time. Traditional legal tender, such as dollar, euro, pound, and won. In early 2014, Mt. Gox declared that hackers had stolen nearly 500 million. Yeah, right. They just put down. I don't when these type of guys, they're super intelligent, so they can put that play down anytime they want. 500 million. That's all that was. They hacked it themselves. There was no outside hackers. They hacked it themselves. I don't know if that should be true or not. That's just my conclusion. Like, because when you playing with that money, a lot of times these guys, well, you and I, we may not know how to secure our information on a high level, high grade level. They do. Unlike most other depositors, some 24,000, Hayes managed to get his money out. So he got lucky and got his bread out. And in the process, learned an important lesson. Exchanges constitute a single point of failure in otherwise secure Bitcoin ecosystem. Mt. Gox have been the most infamous such hack, but dozens of exchanges have been hit, and untold billions in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have vanished. That's just, when you know the game, it's just like the bank. Wells Fargo Bank, they opened up accounts in so many people's names and giving themselves bonuses. It's the same in everything. There's no honest people. There's very few honest people. And once you know something, the ins and outs of something, it's hard to be honest. It's hard. I swear to God. It's hard to be honest. If you know the ins and outs, you can do things people can't see, they'll never figure out. That's why it's hard. That's where integrity comes in. That's where integrity comes in. Integrity means you know you can do it, and nobody will know. But you say, nah, I'm gonna leave it alone. I ain't gonna do that. That's integrity. Even though you can do it and get away with it, you say, nah, I don't think that's gonna really help me down the road. So you don't do it. That's where integrity. That's what's lacking. There's no integrity in the world. That's why I try to be transparent. I've never been you can ask anybody where I grew up, Flint, Detroit. Integrity is paramount from when I was young. I used to watch the old mafia movies. All the guys who got killed in the mafia movies, the one who always try to do something underhanded. But the real mafia bosses, they just call shots and did what they supposed to do. But the other ones, they want to do underhanded stuff. And then they got to get hit. Because you tried to steal from the candy man. Bitcoin and beer. In January 2014, Hayes arranged a meeting at a swanky rooftop watering hole with Ben Dillo. That was his business partner, what I talked about earlier. Ben Dillo, that's the first. Now we get into the story how it got going. A brainy British mathematician. You see that? So the brother, he knew what he lacked. So he went out to go find it. Well, I need some people who know how to do this and do that. I got this, but they got these things that'll blend with what I got and make us all rich. British mathematician program whose classmates at Oxford reported him the most likely to become a millionaire, which he did, and the second most likely to wind up in prison. which he might, because he's indicted. So that after graduating in 2005, he worked for IBM, 2 hedge funds, and after moving to Hong Kong, JP Morgan. He also worked for the banks. That's who they like. They like mathematicians. You can work anywhere in the world. You're a numbers cruncher. When Hayes and D-Lo got together, little about them suggested they would storm the ramparts. On paper, both had establishment CVs. I don't know what that is. Elite educations and stints at blue chip companies. Yet each was an outlier. Hayes, the scholarly son of auto workers, the regimented and highly regulated world of investment banking for crypto's Wild West, where rules were made on the fly and regulations were few. D-Lo, according to Sir Jonathan Bate, provost of Oxford's Worcester College, overcame great difficulties in his school career to win a place at Oxford from a local state school. This brother, even the white brother, European brother, should I call him a brother? I ain't know, I'm not right there, but even that guy came from humble beginnings. He was just super smart. He had to get into Oxford himself. He had to win a place, as they say. In fact, as the child of a civil engineer father and a school teacher mother, he was expelled from trade schools before he was diagnosed with Asperger's. I don't know what that is. I know some Europeans get. At Oxford, where he double majored in math and computer science, he earned what the Brits call a double first, graduating with a perfect GPA in both subjects. So that brother was super smart. He got a perfect score in math and a perfect score in that cat is a beast. Like, subscribe, and share. Hit that notification bell. Cash App, all that stuff. Super chats, all there for you. You love it, hit it. You don't, cool. It's all good. Still watch and continue to support. As the pair mapped out what it would take to turn Hayes' vision into reality, D-Lo, an expert in back office work of designing complex algorithms and high-speed trading systems, said they needed a web developer to handle the consumer-facing side of things. See, D-Lo had the overall, Hayes had the overall picture. D-Lo had the back end, designing. He knew about algorithms, trading systems. So they not even need a guy who can do the front. That means how it looks to you when you go on the exchange. Hayes knew just the guy, a young American coder. You better learn how to code if you want that bread. It ain't hard. Once you get into it, you'll learn it fast. Younger minds take the things faster. You got children, you got young children. They have online coding schools. Hayes knew just the guy, young American, and tech advances named Sam Reed, whom Hayes had met after a speech Reed had given in which he warned his aspiring techie audience not to join startups. Don't join those startups. Rules owners often exploited and stiffed their coders. When Hayes pitched Reed on his idea for a Bitcoin derivatives exchange, Reed, disregarding his own advice, signed on immediately. Like, hell yeah, nigga. Sign me up. He's like, hell yeah, sign me up. It must have sounded real good to him. You know what I'm saying? He's like, shit, put me on. Put me in the game, coach. Put me in the game, coach. So the youngest of 3 boys, Reed had grown up in Manitowoc, Wisconsin. His father had been a network administrator for the Air Force, and his mother worked as a newspaper editor. There were plenty of old computers lying around the Reed household to get them working. By age 12, he had a paying gig. At age 12, he was already getting money. Boy, entrepreneurs, they start. So I started when I was about 9. Same thing. Then I got about 10, 11. The work I used to deliver flyers at the pizza place. That was my first hustle. Give me a slice of pizza and play the video game. I get $5 for flyers. Take that same $5. They had video game back then. They had video games everywhere. Like I get this big slice, pepperoni, that pork. I don't eat that pork no more. That pork on it. Play them video games, Pac-Man, Stargate. It was my game. Reed was less institutional and more peripatetic than Hayes and D-Lo. As defense contractor, found the corporate world and suffocated, and by this time had a couple of startups and freelance gigs before finding his way to Hong Kong in 2013. Somehow, all their past was heading to Hong Kong, huh? That seemed like it was meant to be. Like this guy was just over here doing his thing in another place. He was over here doing his thing. This guy's doing his thing, and they all met up in Hong Kong. A brother, which the brother is the founder, the dreamer. He was the dreamer. He was the one had it all in his head, and he needed these guys to put it on, to bring it to life. And the three of them made a perfect, what they call a trinity. So let's go on. Reed was much younger than Hayes and D-Lo, yet he had been in the crypto game the longest. So he was in it long. By 2009, his senior year at Washington, and Lee, the self-described Bitcoin hipster, was mining Bitcoin on his laptop at a time when the currency was next to worthless. Man, you can't do that no more. You can't mine no Bitcoin. You need a whole rigging. You need to pull so much electricity to mine. Reed racked up roughly 100 Bitcoins along the way. Wow. You know how much 100 Bitcoins is today? 100 times 38,000. Somebody do this at 3.8 million. I think that's what it is. So he already in the game. Oh, it's today's, they say it right here, today's, those coins, 3.1 million. Like I said. Reed was less institutional and more in an online career forum with his alma mater, take while sitting in a hut in Thailand. Reed shared crypto business tips. Among his high insights in a gold rush, you don't want to mine the gold, you want to sell the shovel. And that's during the gold mining. The people who got rich, that expression come from that time. People who got rich was the people who sold the shovels, not the ones who mined the gold. You could hit but if you did get rich from mining the gold, you hit a major lick. But if you didn't, the guy with the shovels was killing the game. At one point, Reed going with the idea of building an online exchange to trade cryptocurrencies, explaining his rationale. If you can cut the banks out, you cut most of the complexity out. You cut out a lot of where U.S. law kind of gets involved with anti-money laundering, know your customer, KYC kind of stuff, and you get rid of a lot of fraud because all this, internet money is actually, by design. His work. Hayes, D-Lo, and Reed began working in earnest on what they termed the Bitcoin Mercantile Exchange. Now, I don't know if many of you know what CME is. Chicago Mercantile Exchange. You go to Chicago, I forgot what street it's on, but you'll see it. Pass. Go down the underpass, and over the top of it It's the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, downtown Chicago. That's where trillions of dollars are traded. Arthur Hayes was the CEO, Ben Delo, the COO, and Sam Reed, the CTO. As button down as those titles sound, Bitmix at first was just with laptops working by day out of a Starbucks at Jardine House, a 70s era Hong Kong skyscraper adorned with porthole windows. At night, they'd retreat to Hayes' apartment with beers from 7-Eleven. NASDAQ meet Vegas. Bitmix was billed as a peer-to-peer trading platform that offered leverage contracts that are bought and sold in Bitcoin. So you can buy, used to effectively bet on the currency's future price with leverage of up to a dizzying 100 to 1. Woo! From 100 to 1. So for every dollar, you got $100. You can leverage that much. For $1, you can leverage $100. A customer with 10,000 in his or her BitMEX account could seemingly execute a trade worth a cool million. The lure of the and the fact that people can make big money by putting a relatively modest crypto seed money. In a blog entry on the Bitmix site, Hayes mused, trading without leverage is like driving a Lamborghini in first gear. You know it's safer, but that's not why you bought it. His friend Jahan Chu compared Bitmix to NASDAQ. The NASDAQ was located in Las Vegas. When pressed about the potentiality with potentially catastrophic downside of letting people trade so much on margin, Chu insisted that personal responsibility has always been central to the crypto ethos. You put on 100x, make sure you read the fine print. Mommy's not here to make sure you don't fall off skateboard. So you put on that 100x, you make sure you can pay your tag. You can't, they'll pay. Ted Singh Sony is another one of the colorful characters in the American X-backed crypto circle. With the turban made, in his words, from secret fabric and an accompanist, or whatever it is, line of clothing, which he described as Burning Man by way of Punjab. The first generation Sikh American began hosting Bitcoin meetups a decade ago in Vegas, where early attendees included aspiring magicians and poker players. Now, based in Kyiv, which is hospitable to digital currencies in the US, he helps build a secure blockchain companies. Sony has been sympathetic to Bitmix business model, insisting they are running a pretty sophisticated casino environment. But I'm a free market guy. In my book, Bitmix should be able to put up whatever. Their terms are very clear. Like I was saying, see, the feds just don't like them. It's not because they're wrong. They do anything wrong. They provided a platform for people to make money on. They ain't provided a platform for you to do nothing illegal on. It's only illegal because it threatens the current monetary system. The ones who've been holding the old guard, as this article said. Things change, things progress. That's what they should be asking them instead of trying to lock them up. They should be asking them, work with us to bring this to everyone, where they don't have to be hidden or it doesn't have to be so in their obscure in their eye. But if the government can't tax it, then they don't want you to do it. That's pretty much what it boiled down to. The birth of Bitmix 6 years ago was perfectly timed, yet dangerously fraught. In the eyes of U.S. was then transitioning from being the favorite currency of bad actors, exemplified by the 2000 tech power, a Silk Road, the notorious black market for drugs and guns for hire, to being an investment-grade asset that institutional players will start to buy as a safeguard against inflation and for its promise of outsized returns. Hayes, Delo, and Reed were in the catbird seat and began to accumulate serious wealth. All three are billionaires to sources familiar with their finances. Hear that? All three are billionaires. At the same time, they were outsiders, suddenly playing in an arena that insiders were looking to co-op. Their high-speed, high-level offerings harken back to the kinds of potentially toxic financial instruments that will eventually draw regulators and later generate laughs in Adam McKay's 2015 film, The Big Short. They just did a Big Short. Hit that like button, notification bell, hit that like button, Cash App, Super Chat. It helps the algorithm. Hit the like button. Helps all of that. Please, 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 please. This stuff is happening very, very fast. It didn't exist 10 years ago. J. Christopher Giancarlo, who served at the powerful Commodity Futures Trading Exchange Commission under President Obama and later as the CFTC chairman under President Trump. Regulation always follows innovation, and sometimes in democracies, it follows a little further behind other jurisdictions. That's correct. Innovation is always ahead of regulation. You need to leave regulation out of innovation. Every time you tax something that limits innovation, people don't want to innovate when things are taxed and they feel that their energy is being wasted. For years, Giancarlo pressed Congress to enact a comprehensive regulatory framework to cover. Instead, legislators have relied on laws from the 1930s, the Security Exchange Act and the Commodity Exchange Act, which were later amended in the wake of the 2008 financial crisis. Even so, the rules remain woefully outdated. And so regulators, according to Giancarlo, must determine how pioneering platforms like Hayes are regulated, if at all. There are something like 8,000 new instruments that have been identified. He said, in each case, regulators have to ask, do they fall SEC side of the ledger, SEC side of the ledger, or nobody's side of the ledger? Understanding what Bitmix was selling is perhaps less important than whom the company was selling it to. In our early conversation, Hayes insists that Bitmix was careful to have no American customers. See, they can't even have American customers because our government don't want us to make any money doing arbitrage. They think it's a platform for criminals. Criminals trade the more criminals use cash than Bitcoin. So we're gonna stop cash because criminals that's their number one form of currency is cash. So gonna stop cash. The like button, the notification bell. See some more people in here. More people in the building. Down to 3. It was up to 7. I get this thing up, man. Y'all gotta tell your friends, man. Your friends, get some people in the building. I told you I would love to give all this information, ebooks, tutorials, all that stuff free. Support the channel. Tell your friends and family, support the channel. I want to help you guys become wealthy. Clean your credit. I want to help you. Make the best CPN. I want to help you. But I don't want to be poor while I'm helping you. You want me to be poor while I make you rich. That's asinine behavior. Let's make each other rich. Each one teach one. Let's be each other's crutches. Now let's don't be crabs in the barrel. Will lift me up. We'll lift each other up. We can do that. Not hard. It's easy. Everything is. It only takes determination and discipline and being able to work with one another. We don't have to love each other. We don't have to hang out with each other. We don't have to do any of that. These guys don't even know each other. They came together. You see that? 3 guys don't even know. 3 different places in the world. 3 different backgrounds in the world. But they came together for one common cause to make a platform that they could get rich off of. You know, that's what I'm here for. I'm looking for people to get rich with. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. Let's be transparent. Let's know each other so we can make it happen. Let's bring the ideas forth. You got some good ideas, I want to hear them. Text them to me. Email me. If you need your credit repaired, I'll take one person. I'm going to charge you 25% of your money. 25% of whatever funds I get you, I want 25% of it. I'll take you from nothing to a hero. You just come back and tell the people that, yes, he took me from zero to a hero. Now I've changed my life. He helped me change my life. He took me from financially fucked to financially good. Not hard. Take a little discipline. So go get on board. The Church of Money is here for the people. The Church of Money is here for the people, whoever. I'm here to show you that you don't have to be broke. Being broke is a choice. That's it's a condition of your mind. That's why you're broke. It's a condition of your mind. You don't have to be broke. If you don't use drugs, you don't do any of those things, you should not be broke. Because those are the most things that hinder a person. Or drinking, things excessively. Stop those things. Get some discipline about yourself. We're almost done with this argument. Almost complete. Yeah, that's the key, man. Get some discipline about yourself. But U.S. officials said that wasn't the case. It did not escape their attention that Bitmix had plenty of American depositors, many of whom disguised their location by using VPN. They were flocking to Bitmix by thousands, even though Hayes, the product of the banking establishment, where whole departments are dedicated to enforcing anti-money laundering and know your customer requirements. His immersion to the deeply libertarian world of crypto seems to have blinded reality. It didn't blind them. Among them, U.S. authorities have wide-reach, long memory and an affinity for knocking people down to size, especially brass upstarts. And of course, if you're melanated, that applies double. Arthur is an iconoclast. His friends, Melton Demermores, contended he's not afraid to be controversial. See, that's one thing as a so-called, when you're doing things like this, you gotta kind of be quiet and just let it and do it. You can't be brash, like they saying. Now, if he's brash, then they're gonna come back. Be like a Floyd Mayweather in the Bitcoin industry. Can't do that. We'd love to be able to do that, but we can't do that. We can't do that. That's kick that until we get the overall. Then we can do it. As long as we don't have an overall power, we can't do it. Demermores was born in the Netherlands. Demermores has been dubbed the Sheryl Sandberg of crypto, which sounds like a reductionist label created by those she termed pseudo-intellectual fuckboys. Demermores was born in the Netherlands to Turkish parents, moved to U.S. when she was 10, and studied math and economics at Rice, at MIT, all smart, where she has taught fintech and blockchain strategy, specialties she later brought to students at Oxford. It's not hard to see why Hayes and Demermores became friends and kindred spirits. I feel like an outsider, she remarked, in the sense that I'm female. I'm not funded by Silicon Valley. My mom and daddy aren't rich. I don't have the same background as many people in the industry. When I walk in the rooms, people still raise their eyebrow. The same Hayes, who, as Demermores sees it, didn't have famous venture capital backers, didn't have the advantages that other people had. Hayes' original sin might be that he refused to play the game. That's all he did. He refused to play the game. He didn't care about the charade and the optics and the bullshit, Silicon Valley and the think tanks, all the stupid shit you do for prestige. He just didn't care. Sometimes people's greatest qualities are also the biggest downfall. Kind of nonchalant. about the whole thing. Bitmix incorporated in the Achilles, that's an island. A move that allowed the startup to move fast and minimize its tax exposure. That's the number one thing. I talk about that all the time. Every rich person, that's what they do. While Western governments struggle to even understand, much less create a way to govern the newfangled financial instruments and market that Bitmix was building. 2015 investor presentation, Hayes made the point that Bitcoin derivatives are completely unregulated worldwide. Regulators are still trying to tackle the exchange of fiat and Bitcoin. And that's why they're true billionaires, because their money didn't come from being taxed. Their money is their money, and it's in Bitcoin. So they can change anytime, as long as the power go out, hey, Bitcoin stuff. As long as the power home, they billionaires. They can buy whatever they want, do whatever they want, go wherever they want. Build another company, do the same thing. You got a billion, I'm not gonna say your options are endless. They pretty much are close to endless. Options are endless. That might have been magical thinking. There was no rules in the beginning, and governments weren't interested in articulating the rules. True, remember. You would go to them and ask for guidance and get nothing. Is this illegal? No answer. That's true. It was only after the fact, he said, that cryptic strictures emerged to police crypto, usually in response to some infraction that had not been previously articulated by regulators. But where Chu saw chaos, Hayes saw opportunity. For nearly a year after its launch, Bitmix business was flat. Some days we had no trades. Hayes remember. No one bought or sold. The fees from trading on the platform barely covered the server bill, which Reed paid with his credit card. While Hayes and D'Lo stayed in Hong Kong, Reed got married and moved back to the States, selling in Milwaukee, where he operated a co-working space. The time zone difference, however, worked in their favor. Reed and D'Lo's signature started fast took turns, being on customer support issues 24/7. Hold on. The company's fortunes changed when in late 2015 started offering customers 100x. So you can take that 10,000, you can 100x it. 5 times as its closest competitor. So that was the change. That's what changed everything right there when they put the 100x in effect. That propelled them to superstar. Political volatility the following year with Brexit and the election of Donald Trump increased crypto's trading value. Come 2017, Bitmix had to bring on 30 employees to cope with the explosion in trading. The firm moved into a new office, which is soon outgrew. By 2018, Bitmix had become a high-stakes resort, moving billions every day. Hear that? Moving billions every day. This brother moving billions. Nobody'd even know. He over in Hong Kong, from Detroit and Buffalo, over in Hong Kong doing his thing, bossing up for real. Y'all people over here, cats over here talking about bossing up, talking about Dr. Dre, talking about uh, 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 Michael Jordan and Jay-Z. Nobody knows it, brother. He a Bitcoin billionaire. Doing the same thing. And he, like I said earlier, they didn't say he was a big player. He said he was one of the biggest players. By 2018, they just said, look, by 2000, I started moving billions every day. During one of our meetings, Hayes commented, we are the biggest trading platform in the world by volume. That's anyone who trades a crypto product. Bitmix, he said, was one of the most liquid exchanges in the world, regardless of asset class. Hear that? Cap doing it. Still doing it. I think they may shut it down. By that measure, was in the same league as the NASDAQ as well. London, and Tokyo Stock Exchange. You hear that? Brother, created an exchange that competes with 100-year-old organizations and institutions. In 3 years, in 3 to 4 years, he made a $3 trillion. Woo. Dang. I ain't gonna give the brothers credit too. The two wives credit. Give everybody credit. It's helping the little guy. It's helping us come up. Because that's the only way you truly can come up. It's hard to come up when they taxing every dollar you make. If you make $1 and they take 40 cents of that dollar, you only got 60 cents. And now you got to reinvest the 60 cents as opposed to you had $1, you make $2. $2 make $4. $4 make $8. You can continue to grow. But and they take half of that $2, now you back at $1, then you make $3, then you got to go back to $2. It's going to take you forever to grow. It takes you forever to grow. It's not intended for you to grow with that. Who want to create a business every time you make $2, somebody take $1? Who want to do that? I want to create a business. We want to continue it to grow. I want to reinvest all the money so it continue. Not you take some as I go. In May 2018, on the opening day of Consensus, the crypto world's equivalent of the Consumer Electronics Show, as Hayes pulled up to the Hilton in Midtown Manhattan in an orange Lamborghini and tweeted, "Did you see my ride today at Consensus 2018? A close friend insisted he was simply lampooning the thousands gathered inside the hotel. Investors who talked a big game about cashing in on crypto, who had really only succeeded in burning through millions in venture capital on harebrained schemes and ICO, initial coin offers. Still looking back, the Lambo gambit might well have been the moment more than any other when Hayes painted a bullseye on his back. It kind of reminded me of the movie Frank Lewis. He wore to the boxing match, and that put the feds on him. The Lamborghini was the same as the big hat, the chinchilla hat at the fight for him. See, we gotta, as brothers, we like to shine. We gotta kind of tone that down, because we love to shine. But crackers, they don't like to shine. They hate when we shine. Black crackers and white crackers. See, black crackers and white crackers. They hate when you shine. You got to tone it down a little bit. True, the firm's partners had different approaches to their images in their booming business. Hayes, who didn't mind ruffling feathers, reveled in the role of financial renegade. Sam Reed kept an extremely low profile. See, that's what Hayes should have did. A billionaire on paper, walking the streets of Milwaukee. See, he a billionaire. He walking around like he ain't got a dime. That's the best way. That's the way I learned how to do it. The shine way always give you unwanted attention from women, fools, from everybody. But when you just fly under the radar, you can make your moves, do all the things you need to do, and nobody ain't paying no attention. Richer and richer and richer, and nobody don't even know you get richer and richer. That's the way. But when people know, they see you think you got it, they gonna have their hand out, they gonna be conniving, all types of things, plotting to try to get some money out of you any way they can. You can't bring them up. You gotta get away from it. When Bitmix was declared the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange in 2018, a string of British newspapers dubbed him the UK's youngest self-made billionaire. That October, he donated £5 million to Oxford Worcester College, and a few months later signed the Giving Pledge, signed by Bill and Melinda Gates and Warren Buffett, as an open invitation for billionaires to publicly commit to giving the majority of their wealth to philanthropy. So one Don't get his money away. He passed on, he giving it away. I wouldn't sign that pledge with them. In a letter explaining his decision, he wrote, as a schoolboy in Britain, age 16, I was asked to list my ambitions for the future. And this is important right here. What he about to say right here. Make it a habit to writing down what your goals are. If you can do it, make it a habit to writing down what your goals are. You write down what your goals are, a lot of times they come true. So he was asked to list my ambitions for the future. I answered concisely. Computer programmer, internet entrepreneur, millionaire. Incredibly fortunate to exceed those goals. And I'm grateful to be in a position to sign this pledge. You see that? You see that? And I actually done that when I was a kid. I used to want to be a drug dealer so bad. I mean, I wanted to sell drugs because I wanted money at 15. I wanted a new car at 16. And I wanted drugs to do that. And there was no one who could deter me from that. It's a bad example that I'm using, but I'm just showing you with this bad example. Like whatever you put you're gonna get it. So make sure when you put your minds to something that's positive. If you put your mind to something negative, you're gonna get it. And you're gonna get more than what you expect. I wanted to sell drugs so bad that I just wanted a car. But it went way past than just that car. You lose focus of what you started with. And then that's when it all goes out of whack. You just started a car, but it went way beyond it. So be careful what you write down, with what you write down, and what you really in your heart truly want, it will come true. So make sure what you really want, what you write down, thought out. Two years ago, Bitmix leased the 45th floor of Cheong Kong Center. Listen to this. The most expensive real estate in Hong Kong. And listen to this. And home to Goldman Sachs, Barclays, Bloomberg, and Bank of America. See, their brother's not playing. He's not playing. Their company wasn't playing. They have an exchange, exchanging $3 trillion a year. And just say they receive 1% of $3 trillion. That's $3 billion. Three is the magic number. By the summer of 2019, the amount of money moving through Bitmix was staggering. On June 27th, the company announced it had set a new daily record, $16 billion in one day. You imagine that? You, me from Detroit, young boy growing up in the neighborhood, grow up, young man, 30, 35, and I'm controlling a company that's doing $16 billion a day. It's my, not somebody I work for, not somebody, none of that. Me, two other guys. Our company. That got the hell to know you made $16 billion, $16 billion one day. And that's where integrity comes in. They could have walked away at any given point, just like the Mount Gox people did. The Mount Gox people walked away with 500 million compared to their exchange, Bitmix exchange. Pennies. These guys can walk away with 16 billion. The people money and say it got hacked. Like those guys did with the 500. They got hacked. 500 million got hacked. Yeah, I don't know what happened. They got it through the back door. You know, they got hacked. Yeah. Tom, you got an answer? No, I got one bill. You, Jim? No, I don't have one, Jim. 5 times. Okay. And had to pay for it. Just think of these guys saying, oh, we got hacked. 16 billion. Since Bitcoin, so nobody will never locate it. That's where integrity comes. These guys have great integrity. They provided a platform for people to exchange safely without losing their money or running off with their money. And it made them by doing that. The other guys, they billionaires. These guys are billionaires. They ran off with 500 million. They should have just stayed in the game, been honest and straightforward. Billionaire. You don't have to cheat to win. My cousin used to tell me that when I was a child. I used to cheat if we play electric football. They don't have the look up electric football sets. Y'all get a chance. Look up electric football sets. Me and my cousin used to play electric football. I used to cheat. I still lose. He said, cheaters never win. He right. He was right. He was a child telling me that. We both children. Cheaters never win. I never listened. He never went to the penitentiary. I did. Cheaters never win. Because it's not that you cheat, it's the energy. The negative energy what makes you lose. It's the negative energy. It's not the cheating that you lost. If you believe, you will win. But you don't believe in the cheating. Like I didn't believe in it. If you believe in that's how cheating go, you will win every time. Because you have a conscience that you're doing the other person wrong. But once you have the conscience you're doing the other person wrong, that's why you lose. But if you never have that conscience of doing wrong, you don't know, you're not aware, you'll always win. That's why they say it's better not to know. That's why people say so it's better for you not to know. Sometimes it is better not to know. But it's good to know. But when you do know, now you become responsible. That's the one. Nobody wants to be responsible. Everybody want original, no man won't die. 2 days later, he tweeted. So the first day, trading 16 billion. 2 days later, he tweeted $1 trillion traded in a year. The stats don't lie. Remember Jay-Z said, men lie, but numbers don't. There you go. $1 trillion traded in a year. Woo. And he had people around the world trading $90 billion a month. They got to be more. They multi-billionaires. They're not just billionaires. They're multi-billionaires. They don't just have 1, 2, 3. These cats got about like 10 a piece. These cats got like 10 billion a piece. They did $1 trillion in 1 year through their platform. What's the profits on $1 trillion? What's their return on that trillion? Just say 100 billion. Nobody really knows these guys' net worth. This is all in Bitcoin. You don't know their net worth. If they traded $1 trillion in 1 year, $3 trillion, 3 years, Nobody really knows their net worth. It's somewhere to probably 30 billion per each person. Each one of these guys is in the top 20 of billionaires in the world. And they ain't on the books. The government wanted, that's why the government coming after them, because they're not on the books. We off the books this year. We off the hook this year. You remember that? We off the books this year. Psycho Les, what was that? Juju, beating us. Go watch it. Watch the video. We off the books this year. Beating us. Old school. These guys created something that's great, man. This just give me motivation. That's why I'm reading it to you all, because I hope it motivates you like it motivates me. It's got me super excited that I know only hang-ups there are is you. Ain't no racism or any of that preventing you from doing any of that stuff preventing you, you let it. You letting it. This guy, he walked right through the door. These guys ain't talking about no race, and they don't even mention his race at all. I'm telling you his race. He didn't work for hedge funds. They probably, these guys, these white guys don't care he's black. All they cared about was his mom. You see, the first dude, his third partner told him he don't even do that. He telling people don't invest no money with nobody. You don't do that. But when the black dude came to him and pushed the idea to him, he like, shit, sign me up. Say, sign me up. That sounds good. He recognized opportunity. He saw the vision. He said, I got to get on board. What I need to do. What I need to do. I don't give a fuck that you black. I don't care. You're a genius. You're a genius. You're black. Nigga. Let's go eat some watermelon. Want some chicken? But let's get to it. And they got to it. So look, let's go back. So now here go his haters. We're gonna get to the haters now. The man he was tweeting at was Nouriel Roubini, a respected NYU economist, economics professor, and Bitmix fiercest critic. This the guy who put the police on. Dubbed Dr. Doom. Roubini sat on President Clinton's Council of Economic Advisors and served at the Treasury Department. This will put the police on. This guy's a hater. These people like this in the system, they're haters. They hate innovators. They hate creators. They hate devastators. They don't like that. That's why they put Zuckerberg before the Senate committee or Elon Musk. They own them. They hate innovators. They want to stifle progress, business progress. They want you. It's like bully on the block. He always wants to take some money out your pocket. That's them. They the bullies on the block. Anytime you come up with something sweet, they want part of it. They want to take some of it. And then you got punks like this who can't create or do nothing. They get in the way. They want to regulate what you create. No, regulate what you do. In other words, he was about as establishment as Hayes was contrarian. Like I said, on July 3rd, the pair faced off on stage at the Asia Blockchain Summit and was publicized as the Tango and Taipei, taking their seats at the theme for Rocky Blared Overhead. As the theme from Rocky Blared Overhead. The professor spoke first and went straight for the jugular. Shitty behavior occurs in this particular industry. Criminals, scammers, snake oil salesmen, and so on. Next to me is a gentleman who works with degenerate gamblers and retail suckers and non-accredited investors. See, when they say non-accredited investors, they talking about the small guy like you and I, where our net worth is not $250,000 or more, or $1 million in total. So the come up, they try to prevent us from the come up. You can't invest in certain things unless you unless you this and this. But what if I know how to do that, but I only got 100,000? I know how to do that. No, you can't do it. Can't do it like that. See, that's what they try to prevent. The federal agencies, all these different agencies. Like he worked for the what was it? The whatever it was, Treasury Department. They handle the Federal Reserve notes that we spend. Next to me is in his Italian accent and English, Rubini stressed there's a whole nice Twitter feed called Bitmix. Rec means F in the ASS, where every other second somebody has been liquidated by these guys and thousands of them have gone into financial ruin. That may be true, but each person who trades Bitcoin knows there's a huge risk of you losing your money. Everybody knows that. We're not going to trade Bitcoin if we don't know that there's a chance that you can lose everything. Everyone who plays the game knows that. So that's just like out of pocket. Anybody they just don't like his system. That's all it was. Rubini said, with the exception of Hayes and his colleagues who, Rubini said, reap commissions and fees and maintain a liquidation fund that profits off of people going bankrupt. They created the platform. You don't have to play. You don't have to go on it. You don't have to do that. That's a personal choice. They created the game. You don't have to play the game. You didn't have to go buy Monopoly off the shelf and take it home and play it. You could have left it on the shelf and decided not to play it. So each person who went into their exchange and lost their money, that's on them. It's not on these three guys. They created the platform for you to get paid or play the game. And if you lost the game, you didn't play it with. That's on you. Hayes countered with the whataboutism. Bitmix 100 times leverage. So what? You could trade this type of leverage anywhere you want to go. In the United States, we have things called exchange traded funds. He knows this because he worked there. Remember, he worked there. He was a analyst for exchange traded funds. There was a great one, and it was based on the idea of short volatility. And February 2018, in the most highly regulated financial market in the world, highly liquid. And all these nice banks, people with suits on, went to nice universities, and your ETF went to fucking zero. What is that? It was a curious line of argument for someone who got his start in finance by building and pushing ETF. Like I said, so he know the game. That's why they don't like him. He played. It's the same with Reginald Lewis. When I talked about Reginald Lewis, their game, man, they hate you as a black man. They don't want us in the financial markets, but we gonna get in there anyway. And we shaking it up. And we shaking it up. The new billionaires are us. The new billionaires is us. We're gonna dominate the billionaire class. When you go look up Forbes, you're gonna start seeing more of these kind of faces in there. Hayes, in fact, the auditorium that day, people who believe that he, like Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, had created an entire marketplace from scratch, an influential, secure, and highly profitable platform that people never knew they needed. As Hayes spoke, though, all the parallels with Zuckerberg were unmistakable. The arrogance, that's true. When you get a lot of money, that's one thing. It's hard to tone down. The disdain for authority, I don't know about that. And the tone deafness that veered toward self-sabotage. It was on display at Taipei. That's just hate. That's just hate in whoever wrote the article. It's just a little hate. You can read, if you know how to read, you can see the hate in between those lines. When the moderator questioned Bitmex's decision to register in the Sakilis, where it was suggested that there are no regulations, Hayes went off. Maybe the U.S.-centric Rubini thinks the New York Department of Financial Services and New York Attorney General is the only game in town, and we need to bow down, take an ass fucking from the U.S. government just because it's regulated. Now I don't know. That's really not my game. So that's pretty. Yeah, that's what they do. They want you to be regulated by them. When asked if he might concede that U.S. and European regulatory authorities are only slightly different plane indulging in security. He remarked, it just costs more to bribe them. And how much was to bribe the securities authorities? His answer, a coconut. All it took to bribe them was a coconut. to bribe America, you know, it's gonna take at least a couple of them billions that he making. That's why they want him, because he ain't sharing them billions with the government of the United States. If he was sharing them billions with them, they'd leave him alone. But it's too. He had to do it from the beginning. He had to let them know. But they went. How we do this? How they do that? They didn't give them any answers, so they went on and did it themselves. Now the government come back later and say, now we want you to answer for this, for creating a platform. They didn't say he sold drugs or anything. He stole money. They didn't say none of that. They just say he created a platform that people can use to get paid off of. But they want him to go to prison for that. That's some BS. A few weeks later, Dr. Boone blasted back with the scathing title, The Great Crypto Heist. In it, he raised red flags about systematic illegality in offshore exchanges. Still filming from Taipei, he trained his ire on Bitmix and its CEO, accusing them of sketchy business practice. Oh, this the guy who put the police on, put the feds on. Such as and he lost at the debate. The brother beat him at the debate. Still mad. So he wrote a little article, The Great Crypto Heist. Such as using internal for-profit trading desks to front-run their own clients and deriving up to half of their profits from liquidations. The suggestion being that Bitmix is highly incentivized to screw over the very people who trade on the platform. So he's there. It's an Indian guy. He ain't even, oh no, that ain't him. Rubini went for the kill shot. Bitmix insiders revealed to me that this exchange is also used daily for money laundering and on a massive scale by terror. He can't prevent people. It's people, when they say criminals using the platform, money laundering, there's no more money laundering than with the Federal Reserve note. No, it's the #1 money laundering currency. The platform that we spoke, but the NASDAQ, the Dow, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. All those platforms criminals use. So it's not any platforms that escape from criminals using them. Criminals gonna use all platforms, whatever the platform is. Clean their money or however they want to do, they're gonna use those platforms with the bank's help. Look how many banks have helped the criminals clean their drug money. And then they never get penalized. They never go to prison. So gotta be careful with the stories that they tell about people, because it's double-sided. They saying he doing this. They don't want competition is pretty much what they're saying. It's okay for us to do it, but not for you. We can have exchanges, the NASDAQ, the Dow, so on and so forth. But you can't create one and trade $3 trillion a year, $1 trillion a year doing. No, you cannot do that. And your currency is newer than ours. Your people like yours better than ours. No. That's the problem. That's the whole problem. The brother did something great for the cryptocurrency world. Him and his partner, they did something great. It's excluding the federal banking system. They mad. So they send their henchmen out, agents, to go try to arrest these brothers. They arrested the 2 white guys, and they trying to get him, but he the only one still over there. Hours later, Audrey Strauss, the acting U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York, and William F. Sweeney Jr., head of the SBI's New York field office, announced the indictment of Bitmix founders, Hayes, Delo, and Reed, along with their close friend and first hire, Gregory Dreyer. The men were charged with violating and conspiring to violate the Bank Secrecy Act. See? by willfully failing to establish, implement, and maintain an adequate anti-money laundering program. They just basically saying, since these cats didn't let us know that criminals using their platform, we're going to lock them up. But it's okay for the criminal. It's okay, you know that the criminal is using your platform and you don't lock the people up and help them. Some BS, man. Each count carries a maximum penalty of 5 years behind bars. Reed, the only U.S. at the time, was released after posting a $5 million bond and agreeing to surrender his passport. FBI Sweeney went on his way to lambast Hayes. One defendant went as far as to brag the company incorporated in a jurisdiction outside the U.S. That's what you're supposed to do for anybody. All the Apple, the iPhone, they have so much money outside of the United States that they don't want the United States because the United States is going to tax it by 25, 30%. So they keep the money outside. So don't believe that they're doing anything wrong based on this FBI agent statement. All companies, major companies, have jurisdiction outside of the United States jurisdiction. They operate in many different jurisdictions. So don't. They try to play games with you. They just don't like that they have an exchange that's not being by them. They're not paying the tithes. If you was going to, like you go to my church, the Church of Money, which y'all don't ever pay tithes to, but y'all always benefit from the information. But y'all could be so kind and pay some tithes by Super Chat, Cash App, or a number 1 on the chat. And tell me, keep going. Those things would be appreciated, in the Church of Money. The criminal case has stunned legal observers. I'm not aware, and I've done this for a really long time, of any other criminal indictment, certainly not one targeting individual that is solely based on anti-money laundering program failures. You see that? Nowhere. I'm gonna have to go and close this live but that's it anyway. That's the end of it. They got the brother, they indicted. And hope you enjoyed this live. And like, subscribe, and share. Share this with other people. If you could be so kind, hit that super chat, that Cash App down in the description, I think. But if not, look and call me, whatever. If you need help, credit repair, LLC, CPN, ebooks, e-courses, email, phone number, super down in the chat. Thank you guys for listening. Peace to the gods. I'm out.